It's Friday, December 16th, 2022, and this is the Washington Times front page. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Russia is claiming unpredictable consequences if the Biden administration pushes ahead with plans to provide Ukraine with the Patriot missile system. Military reporter Mike Lund reports Russian officials say the escalating level of support for Ukraine is effectively drawing the U.S. and its partners into the war. A Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson argued in a briefing this week that if Patriot defense systems are added to the mix, it would become another provocative move by the U.S. Despite widespread reports this week that the missile transfer was in the works, a Pentagon spokesman wouldn't confirm that President Biden was ready to sign off on the transfer within days. Major investment firms such as BlackRock were questioned by the Texas legislature about their ESG investment practices with state pensions. Ramsey Touchberry reports BlackRock faced a barrage of questions from a Texas Senate committee Thursday about whether it's subverting its fiduciary duty to clients by incorporating long-term climate risks into its management of public pensions. BlackRock External Affairs head Dahlia Blass rejected the assertion that the firm is advancing a political agenda and placing investors in worse financial positions. She said an internal study found that ESG indexes outperformed their non-ESG counterparts 76% of the time over 3 years. She said ESG funds account for only roughly 5% of the company's global assets. The hearing was part of a broader political effort by Republican-leaning states to combat investment firms' ESG policies, which tend to oppose fossil fuels, in a pitch toward cleaner energy. ESG policies seek to incorporate environmental, social, and governance strategies in corporate investment. Immigration advocates are pleading with President Biden to welcome the migrants gathering at the southern U.S. border with Mexico due to the expiration of Title 42. Stephen Dinan reports the pandemic-era policy that has allowed for the quick expulsion of some border crossers is set to expire Tuesday under the terms of a federal judge's order. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas acknowledged his department is looking at restrictions on asylum seekers that the Trump administration used to stem a migrant surge in 2019. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin and Texas Representative Henry Cuellar, both Democrats, joined Texas Senator John Cornyn and Representative Tony Gonzalez, both Republicans, in a letter this week asking the president to keep the Title 42 policy in place. They said the Department of Homeland Security statements to federal courts show the administration is almost completely reliant on Title 42 to control migration from Central America. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find our entire lineup of Washington Times podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. The furor over racist comments by Los Angeles City Council members at a closed-door meeting in October continues. Dave Boyer reports Democratic Council member Kevin De Leon has resisted calls to resign. He said blacks have too much representation on the council compared with Hispanics. The uproar began in October when a recording surfaced of De Leon, Council member Gil Cedillo, then Council President Nuri Martinez, and Los Angeles County Federation of Labor President Ron Herrera in a closed meeting where some of them made disparaging and racist remarks while discussing redistricting maps. Martinez resigned. De Leon has said he is profoundly sorry, but reiterated he won't quit his term, which ends in 2024. And finally, something that you don't hear said too often in December, the Washington Commanders are in a playoff spot. Sports reporter Matt Parris reports Commanders coach Ron Rivera said his team has worked to become relevant, and that work is finally starting to pay off. This weekend's contest with the New York Giants was not only moved to NBC's Sunday Night Football, but will feature a meaningful December game against an NFC East division rival. These Commanders are 6-1-1 in their last 8 games. The last time they made the playoffs to cap the 2020 season, they did so amidst the pandemic and with a mediocre 7-9 record that took advantage of a historically bad division. A win Sunday would significantly boost Washington's postseason odds, while a loss against the Giants, who have an identical 7-5-1 record, likely would put them outside of playoff contention with 3 games remaining in the season. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.